Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Please forgive the wind noise and also the GPS noise, but I'm driving. I'm turning in a rental car that I used to move. And I did a one-way rental, so I'm going to have to pay another 130 riyals for going from one province to the next. From province to, well, yeah, pretty much from one area to the next. So with that being said, I plan to go live, but I'm going to give y'all a little bit of an update right now. I have moved from Riyadh to one of the coastal cities. I won't say which one. It's not a small city. It's also not the biggest of all of the coastal cities. But I'm going to start a new job the day after tomorrow, which will be Saturday night, you all's time. I'll be starting. Well, actually, I'll be starting with if you're in Central Time, then you're going when it's midnight. Saturday becoming Sunday is when I will be starting, because that will be 8 o'clock Sunday morning here. There are a lot of things that I don't yet know. I'm still in the dark about, but I do plan to go and do the job. I left my car still with my wife in her city, and I've been very busy trying to get a bunch of things done. I had to get the Akama transfer done. That was a fight. Then I had to get it done by a certain time. That was another fight. We eventually got it done. And I want to tell you all what I've learned in the past 6 months. And I'll go more in depth about it when I go live. But let me tell you all a little bit now. What I've learned in the past 6 months is that, number one, being black does not make it a disadvantage to be Muslim. And being Muslim does not make it disadvantageous to be black. For many people, I've already said that Islam is the solution for black folks. And The Features is another Muslim and black YouTuber that can tell you more about why it's a solution than I can. Crimson Cure can tell you a little bit more than I can. But I'm not asking you to take my word for it because I say it. I've always said that when you check with other people who don't know me and don't know you and don't know either of us, you can find out. When I go live, you can ask questions about certain things, and I'll tell you if I know why and how it's a solution for a particular problem we're facing. I will tell you. If I don't know how or why, and I'm not the expert, I'll tell you I don't know how or why except the preventive measures, because I do understand the preventive measures. If you come along and you state something for which it is actually not a solution, I will tell you it's not a solution, because nobody's life has no problem at all in it. That's not the case for anyone. But the reply and why it's relevant, well, I can't wait till one of you asks. But I will say this about being Muslim and being black at the same time. In a nutshell, the racism that you face over there in the West is personal and it's systemic. The racism that black folks will face here is personal, and it is not protected by the system. It can be abused within the system. The system can be abused by someone personally, but there's not a systemic hypocrisy. See, what you face in the U.S. is a systematic hypocrisy. If it can be proven to enough people, then maybe in order to satisfy certain things, someone might get involved. Sorry, you're going to hear this thing go off again, the GPS. Then yeah, you're probably going to hear certain things you're probably going to see certain things only if it's really, bad enough to shame a lot of people. But in all honesty, let me tell you straight away. Yes, Roger Report Live. I can't wait to hear this either. What you're going to face if you do come here is that it is not allowed in the system. And while sometimes in order for there to be a conviction, there may be some proof that is required. If there's an allegation, people do take it seriously. People here are not shocked that it exists at a personal level. They're shocked that it exists at a systematic and systemic level, and that people can get away with stuff openly. Black folks here will tell you stories about racism that sound very familiar. But with the discovery of it, or rather the proof of it, things do tend to stop. There in the States, similar. But the extent to which it can go unchecked is different. Now, the ultimate expression of it in the U.S. is when somebody wears a badge and they shoot someone black in a situation in which they would not have shot somebody white. And they get away with it, like Howie Lake and Blaine Salmoni in Baton Rouge, like Geronimo Yanez in Minneapolis or St. Paul, the one that shot Philando Castile. They just got away with it. Now, the one that shot Walter Scott in South Carolina did not. And the thing is that here, pretty much none of them, no cop here can brutalize somebody black and just get away with it unless they do it with no cameras around, no witnesses. And I mean, once it's proven that they did this to somebody, either in handcuffs or that wasn't drawing a weapon on them or something like that, once that is proven, it is a wrap. And if they kill someone they did not have to kill and it wasn't self-defense, they are going to die for murder. The state will kill them. It's not even just they get fired. They go from officer to prisoner to condemned. That's what happens to them. That's the end of them. This is not a game. I wanted you all to know that for the most part here, you are safe. There is safety here that you may not have known about before. And I remember when one guy from one of the Gulf countries, he was from Qatar, and he said, why don't you all move over here to the Middle East? Now, this conversation happened in the Atlanta area, but he asked why black folks didn't leave the U.S. to go to the Middle East. And I said, one, your governments don't let people just move like that. But number two, aren't y'all racist too? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Because this man had told me some stuff before. Later on, this man said to me something that was kind of profound. And even at that time, he said, you will not, and this is actually a response, I think, to Amadou Diallo. And Amadou Diallo had already been dead for a while when this happened. But he was finding out about Amadou Diallo. And he said, some people are racist anywhere you go. But this, a police officer can kill one of you, and you know he would not kill a white person in the same situation. Everyone knows this. I mean, for them to be able to shoot you, get away with it, shoot somebody white, lose their job, and then later probably even go to prison, that's clear-cut racism. That's at the system. How do you deal with this? And now I realize what he was saying. He was pretty much saying, you live where the whole world is against you. I lived where the whole world just doesn't want to marry. That's all. That's what this man was saying. I understand it now. You know, all right, I arrived at the destination where I'm going to turn this car in. But we'll talk more about this when I go live. But I wanted you all to know that on one hand, no, it ain't paradise here. But on the other hand, these notions that many people have and these ideas that many people express where, you know, if you're black, then the entire Muslim world is against you and they want to kill you too. And, you know, everybody that's not black is just waiting for an excuse to lynch you. That's some BS. That's some sure bit. That is not true. No. And I understand the sensation of black annoy you. I'm telling you now, I understand it. But I also wanted you to know when it's true and when it's not. I did not want you to get the notion or the impression that, you know, the whole world's against us and there's no exception, and that nobody's ever going to say that what happened to us is wrong because everybody in their heart of hearts agrees with this. That ain't true either. That is not the case. It seems like that because, number one, the Arabs have been insufficient according to our own religion, for those of them that are Muslim, because they're Christians too. But the Arabs have been insufficient according to our own religion in fighting against this. But also because we sat up and watched pretty much everybody else that ain't us side against us. And we think that's just how they are and they can't help it. And I'm telling you that ain't the case. It ain't everybody, it's a lot of them. And it is disappointing, and they should know better. But it ain't the whole entire world without exception. That I wanted you to understand. We'll talk more later. As always, thanks for listening. Black heart, black mind, black out. Till next time. Well, till the live.